Hello and welcome back to the Circuito de Jerez Angel Nieto for round 6 of the 2021 FIM CV Repsol Championship. We've just seen the first race of 2 in the Moto 3 class. Now it's time for the first Hawkers European Talent Cup race, and we begin with a very heavy heart. As many will know, we tragically lost Hugo Milan at Motorland Aragon, and this morning the whole paddock gathered together along with Hugo's family and friends to remember and honour one of Spain's rising stars. Coming up now is the ceremony that took place this morning, as well as a tribute video to Hugo.
Bienvenidos al Circuito de Jerez. La familia del FIM Repsol se une para recordar al piloto Hugo Millán, junto a su familia, equipo y amigos. A continuación, guardaremos un minuto de silencio en memoria de Hugo.
Good morning, everyone. Today, along with the FIM, to remember Hugo Milan. Along with his family, friends and his team, next we'll observe a minute's silence in his memory.
Gracias. Este aplauso en homenaje, en recuerdo a Hugo Millán, a Super Hugo, como lo conocemos. Hugo Millán siempre eterno.
Hugo Milan, forever in our hearts. Touching tributes have flooded in across the motorsport community over the last couple of weeks. Hugo was chasing the dreams to become a motorcycle world champion like so many are, and we race on in his memory. Hugo will always be remembered, and it was a really sad opening to today's proceedings. Siempre Hugo, always Hugo. We are always with you. Hugo Milan. His Cunha de Campione's teammate Xabi Turutuza is leading the championship standings and can mathematically win the European Talent Cup title today if things go his way. But he's got a bit of work to do from 7th on the grid, hasn't he, Jack?
Yeah, he does. A little bit of work to do, and I think we'd all like to see that team succeed today of all days. But this is what happened earlier. Yesterday, I do apologise for how this man got pole position.
I'm very happy with my result, with my pole position. This is the first one of the year, so I would like to thank my team, everybody that supported me. I'm very happy. And this pole position, I want to dedicate it to Hugo.
A lovely touch then there from Max Martinez to dedicate his pole position to Hugo Milan. But what it does mean is that it is his first pole position in ETC. So, for the man that's been incredibly good in the last few races, he's got a great chance to go off and get a victory here.
2 podiums in the last 3 races, as you can see there on your screen. 2nd in Barcelona, 3rd place in Aragon, and 4th in Portimao. He's been really, really impressive. Just that dash there, Valencia 2, the only mistake that he's made in his debut in the European Talent Cup. So yeah, really, really strong season for Max Martinez, the number 28. He'll be hoping to pick up that first victory today.
And this morning, Elliot, he was fastest in warm-up by 0.6 of a second. So certainly he's had his Weetabix this morning, as young Martinez.
Other cereals are available. Second on the grid is Brian Uriarte, just 0.009 seconds, splitting the top 2 in qualifying. There he is, Brian Uriarte. Now, there's a long lap penalty coming for Brian Uriarte. He was riding slow in 5 sectors in qualifying, so he's got a long lap penalty to take. But if he takes it early enough, which he will do, there's plenty of laps for him to try and claw back the advantage. And Martinez and Uriarte were the standouts in qualifying. They were 0.4 seconds clear. So if we're going off qualifying alone, which is all we've really got to go off at the moment, the top 2 on the grid do look like they've got a little bit of extra speed in their pocket. But this is the European Talent Cup, and Sunday is always a different kettle of fish to qualifying on a Saturday.
Yeah, certainly. Now, 3rd on the grid, it is Alvaro Carpe. Good to see Carpe return to some good qualifying form. It's been a little bit of a struggle for him recently. 3rd on the grid, as I do say, but last time out it was 9th, and before that 10th and 19th as well. So certainly back at the sharp end. And the last time he was on the front row, it's where he got that victory in Valencia. So watch out for young Carpe on the MT Foundation machine. He's certainly going to be one to watch. He has been one of the quickest all season long. It's just not quite worked out for him in the races.
Going to see 4th on the grid soon, Rico Salmela, as we see number 44 shirts there. Hugo Milan, his family and friends have made their way down to Jerez today in the grandstands, hoping for a nice clean race and a good race in the European Talent Cup. But here he is then, Salmela, 13th in the championship. Started off really well in Estoril, P6 and P7. He's just petered out a little bit, but this is his debut season, so you can't be sniffing at that. You can't be too harsh on Salmela at all to be fighting for top 10s, which he is doing a lot of the time in your debut season in this class. Is very, very good work.
Yep, and flying the flag for Finland as well. Scrolling through his Instagram, there's some pretty cool pictures of him actually training on ice, doing a bit of ice riding. So certainly well worth going and have a look at Rico Salmela's Instagram. One of the more unique riders on the grid, that's for sure.
Here's Angel Piqueras, middle of the 2nd row in 5th place for Piqueras. He's into his 2nd season in the European Talent Cup. P2 is his best result so far. That was back in Estoril last year. A little bit of inconsistency there for Piqueras, but this is a class where a lot of riders are fighting at the front, and even if you finish 8th place like he has done on 3 occasions, if you're in the lead group, you can finish less than a second from the win and still finish down in 8th. So sometimes the results don't quite reflect how well the rider has ridden sometimes today.
Exactly, that is the exact thing there, Elliot. I mean, we say about his results, kind of 8th, 13th, 12th, but yeah, he probably wasn't that far off the win, actually. And we do know that he hasn't been. So just needs that little bit of luck and fortune and get the elbows out a little bit more, and I'm sure we'll see him making his way back through to the front of the group. Here's Adrian Cruces then. This is the man second in the championship behind his teammate. Won last time out, and look at that form recently. Obviously, Catalonia, no score there, but first, third, and second then before then in Valencia. He's on it at the moment.
Yeah, it really is. Second in the championship, like we say, just 12 points behind Javi Suratuza, riding for the Cuna de Campeones machine. Siempre Hugo will race in his honour today. The fans there looking on to the ETC grid at the top of the main pit building here. And here he is then, Javi Suratuza, the championship leader, pointed to the skies. They'll be all racing today in honour of Hugo Milan. His form recently has been very, very good. Well, since, apart from that 11th place in Estoril, 3rd, 4th, and then he's been on the podium 3 times in a row, including his first victory in Barcelona and then Portimao, and then finishing second just behind teammate Cruces last time out.
Yep, but as you say, does have a little bit of work to do, coming from 7th on the grid. And speaking of the grid, that's exactly what we're going to see now. So as you already know then, it will be Max Martinez on pole position from Brian Uriarte. Watch out for those two, particularly Uriarte. He's got that long lap penalty to deal with. But as we've seen in Moto3, Munoz dealt with that and came back to second. Carpe completes the third row from Salmela, Piqueras and Cruces, championship leader Zuratufa, and then it's Pau Alsina and Joel Esteban. Watch out for those two coming through as well.
Row 4 is Ferrandes, Garcia and Ralston. Row 5 is Parilla, Boggio and Philippe Ton. Row 6 is Pini, Peleth and Gordon, the Frenchman.
On the next row of the grid, row 7 is Al Suiti from Garnes, Moodley, the South African, from Sharil, Danish, and Collins, and then Sola, Torres, and Corey Tinker in 27th place.
Row 10, completing the runners and riders here in Jerez, is Brinton, Brown, the 2 British riders, and Gordon, the French rider, in 30th place. So, race 1 of 2 here in the European Talent Cup at Jerez. Championship standings very close compared to the Moto 3 and Moto 2 classes. Just 12 points, as we say, between Zuratuza and Cruces, the 2 Cuna de Campeones riders. What's going to happen here today? Have you got any predictions, Jack? I know I asked you in Moto 3 and you got it right. We won't say who, but you did. Yes. You did get it right. So can you get 2 from 2?
Probably not. Well, I can tell you what, it's a big day for the front row, because Max Martinez, Brian Uriarte and Alvaro Carpe sit 4th, 5th and 6th in the championship. Max Martinez is 28 points back, Uriarte is 38 and Carpe is 51. If they want to go all the way down the stretch with 4 races to go, including this one coming up, then they're going to have to land it on the podium today, really. And certainly reverse order is what they will want to tighten it up even more. But I think it's going to be one of the Cuna de Campeones boys. Zuratufa and Cruces have been electric the past few races, so I'm going to bet on one of them. Not sure who, though.
Yeah, you might be right. They are the 2 in-form riders, that's for sure, and they are chasing the championship. But yeah, good point on the front row. They are 4th, 5th and 6th in the title chase. Martinez is only 28 points down, so, I mean, I say only, it is quite a significant advantage at this stage of the season, but if he says he wins today, that's 25 points in the bag, and if he sees maybe Zuratuza and Cruces potentially off the podium, then who knows what can happen. That gap can decrease significantly. This is motorcycle racing. Anything can happen. It's always exciting. What are we going to see today as the riders come around to complete the warm-up lap? Let's just check the temperature. It's crept up to 30 degrees now here in Jerez.
Yeah, and you could feel that when I went out to go over to Parc Fermé for the Moto3 race. You could definitely feel it. It got a lot hotter from the start of the race to just then.
Pole sitter Martinez in the number 28 pulling up to pole position.
It's a wonder how you can make ETC machines look big, but Max Martinez does that. He is tiny.
Front row then, all ready to go. Carpe, the last one to pull up to the front row. The number 83 there he is. Who's going to get the best launch? Should be in for a cracking race here. And there's row 2 on the outside at number 10. Alvaro Carpe and the number 85 there. Look out for Zabi Turantu. So the green flag waves then. We're almost set to go here in ref the race 1. The lights will go out and we're underway, and it looks like a good start from Brian Uriarte in the middle of the front row. He gets past Martinez, but it looks like a good start from the number 83. That's Carpe as well, but I think it was going to be Uriarte, but Carpe left it late into the braking zone. We'll just pan back. It is Brian Uriarte who leads, who, remember, has got a long lap penalty, so perfect start for Brian Uriarte. That's Cruces diving up the inside at turn 2.
Yep, so great start then for Uriarte. Exactly what he needs to do. He's already 38 points back in the shot. Oh, someone's gone down in the background. Who is that? There's a few little gestures there. Not too sure what happened there in the background. We'll have to see if we get a replay of that one. Number 85 then, Zuratufa dives up the inside of... Who was that he dived up the inside of? I'm not too sure. We'll have to check in a second for you. But Zuratufa on the move, trying to make up after that start in 7th place.
Down into turn 6 for the first time. Martinez gets in the draft and gets by before the braking zone, but Brian Uriarte is late on the brakes, getting a bit squiggly there down in the middle of the pack. I think that was Roberto Garcia, the number 31 on the Cardoso machine. Yes, it was. Just getting a little bit squirrely there into turn 6, but they all safely make it through. And it's Eduardo Boggio who goes down at turn 3. A shame for the Italian.
Yeah, that is a shame. He's certainly been showing a little bit more form recently. 11th last time out. So Dodo Boggio, as he's affectionately known, down and out from this one then. So back to the front, and it is Uriarte and Max Martinez, the two boys that really need to pull some points back, with Cruces behind them. So this is crucial for Cruces. If Cruces can stay a good few places ahead of his teammate Zuratufa, this will do wonders to close that 12-point gap as Zuratufa goes onto the green there big time.
Yeah, running wide there on the exit of turn 12 for Zuratufa. Can't do that too many more times, otherwise he will have a long lap penalty. So completing the first lap then, who's going to lead Everline? I think it's going to be Max Martinez, the pole sitter, the number 28, ahead of Brian Uriarte and Cruces, who's made a great start from the outside of the second row. He's ahead of Alvaro Carpe, and Zuratufa there is in 5th place, the number 85.
Just looking down towards the back of the top 10, Jacob Ralston up into 9th, so good start from him as he started 12th on the grid. So making moves already on the Leopard Impala junior team machine. And I tell you what, this is stretching out already, isn't it? Look at this, we've got gaps forming in this top pack already. That was Piqueras just flirting there with track limits. So they're certainly pushing on already, and it may well be because Uriarte is setting that hot pace already, trying to find a gap to slot into once he takes that long lap penalty.
Yeah, this is what we mentioned, isn't it? Brian Uriarte, the number 51, and Martinez did show superior pace in qualifying, and they've just got a little bit of a gap to the chasing pack. Not too much to worry about at the start of the race. Who was that? It's our Cruces, I'll put my words in eventually, just getting out of shape there. I think there was a little bit of contact on the exit of the Danny Pedrosa corner, but he didn't crash, which is the main thing. But yeah, the top two have got a bit of a gap now. It's around about half a second. Last time they clocked through the timing sectors. Brian Uriarte diving up the inside at turn 9.
Oh, big move. I think a little bit of contact there. That gap's going to be much smaller than what it was now after that corner. But certainly it does seem... Yes, number 85, Zuratufa slides up into 3rd place. I was about to say, it looks as though he's going to try and plant a move on Carpe, and he has done that.
When is Uriarte going to take his long lap penalty? Is it going to be now? It looks like no, he's not. As
that's
they back
incredibly
it in.
Close.
But yeah, that corner is going to see plenty of overtaking manoeuvres. So there it is, confirmation, long lap penalty, the number 51. He'll have known before the race because it was the sanction that he was handed last night. So he'll know now that he's got to take it. I'm assuming he will take it on this lap. So they've just got Brian Uriarte, just got to get his head down and just try and get into a nice rhythm on this lap. Build as much of an advantage as he can as he dives at the inside of turn 2. Nice and clean there on Maximo Martinez.
For a reference of just how quick that time is from Piqueras, that 48 flat would have put Piqueras on the front of the second row of the grid. He would have been 4th place in qualifying if he'd slammed that in qualifying. So, yeah, they're pushing the pace a little bit, these boys.
There's Cruces then. exit of turn 6 last time out was where he got out of shape. They're headed into turn 6 now after the back straight. The riders just behind have bridged the gap to the top 2, focusing on Oriate. But Max Martinez drafts past again on the straight, and that's Xabi Circuito, the championship leader, making his move into 3rd place. So a fantastic start from the number 85. We did say he's the informed man. He's won 2 of the last 3 races. He finished 2nd in Aragon, less than a 10th behind his teammate. So he really has got the bit between his teeth, and he knows what's on the line, does Xabi Circuito.
Yeah, he certainly will, as we see Oriate once. Wow, that was close, wasn't it? Just got his nose absolutely wiped by Martinez there as they come through turn number 9. But one thing with Circuito, he just seems to be able to stay out of all the chaos and the drama at the start of the race and slowly pick them off as he goes. And then once he's in that front pack, he just seems to never leave. Like, whatever they do, they cannot get him to come back the order. That was someone else way out wide, as we do see now. He has taken his on-lap penalty, Oriate. Stayed within the lines, lovely stuff, and he's just pipped in front of Jacob Ralston. So that is, what position will that be? That will be P9, I do believe. P10, in fact. But actually now it is P9 because he's just mugged Ferrandes on the brakes.
Yeah, good move there into turn 1. We saw a couple of riders running wide on the last lap. So, yeah, we just need to keep an eye on track limits. Who's that?
That's Palacino, the 26. And I wasn't too sure who the one is.
Number of the other one, so we'll find out soon enough. But yeah, thankfully it looks like both riders are up and okay. As Max Martinez then has a nice 0.7 second cushion in the early stages with 12 laps to go. Xabi Circuito in 2nd place.
Just saying about Alcina there, number 26. That's a big shame for him, actually, because that was his personal best qualifying in 8th. A big improvement over 12th that he had in Valencia. Oh, and we do actually have a red flag just popped up on our timing screens. So hopefully we see those 2 guys walking off there. That's more just for track conditions than anything else.
Red flag then. The riders will hopefully see the flags waving around the circuit, and they'll peel into pit lane. I'm not sure how long the stoppage will be, but we'll bring you the information as soon as we can. So Max Martinez then had a 0.9 second lead. Yes, okay, so a rider just being attended to there in the gravel trap. He was crawling away, but yeah, fingers crossed, it's nothing too serious. We'll obviously bring you information when we get it.
Yeah, so the other rider there was Cesar Perea, the number 81. So hopefully Cesar is okay. Obviously the medics are already attending to them, and they do a fantastic job, these medics. They're straight away there on the scene. So hopefully we will have some very positive news momentarily.
So the riders come back into pit lane then. I think we will get a normal, not a normal race start, it'll be the quick start procedure, and then the riders will take up their original positions on the grid. I think from memory that's what happened in the early stages last time we had a red flag. The bike just being wheeled away there. Riders come into pit lane, they'll get some refreshments on board.
Yeah, that is for sure. It's a very, very hot day here in Jerez, as we've said plenty of times. Elliot, if you just check your watch, what's the temperature at the moment?
30 degrees.
So 30 degrees, so some fluids on board and maybe just a little bit of an energy bar, and I'm sure they'll be okay. It's good to see that Cesar Perea is moving around there.
Yeah, that's positive. Like I say, we'll bring you news if and when we get it. But yeah, the positive news is that he is moving. So fingers crossed for Perea. Yeah, the riders will be getting refreshments on board, just doing a little debrief with their teams as well, just to see how the opening laps went. It was perfect for Maximo Martinez. He had a nice little gap there with Oriate taking his long lap penalty. Now, interestingly, with Oriate already taking his penalty, is he going to have to take it again in the restart? No, I don't think he is. So he'll either line up second on the grids. Yeah, there's the HM44, Hugo Malan forever. Absolutely. Maximo Martinez. Everyone will be doing their best to do Hugo proud today. Yeah,
and certainly the 2 Cunha de Campeones riders there in that first little race start were doing them proud. That is for sure. Circuito and Cruces right up there in the mix already. So in that first start then, what is quite interesting is that Piqueras seems as though he's got the pace to go and run with this, doesn't he? We know how quick he is, but we haven't really seen him in a few races now kind of be right at the top end like that in the first couple of positions. So when we find out what exactly will happen with the restart, it'll be interesting to see where he starts and also if he can get the start once more.
Yeah, Piqueras hasn't finished inside the top 5 since his 4th place on the opening race in Estoril, but like we said before, he's finished 8th 3 times, but that doesn't mean he's been really off the pace, because the groups in the European Talent Cup are normally quite big, especially towards the top 10. So yeah, Piqueras does look like he's got the pace. That's the number 18 bike we're looking at just there. No information regarding the restart as of yet. Just the timing screens are changing as we speak. So we're not sure if this is going to be the grid, but this is how they last crossed the line. So it was Martinez from Zurutuza and Piqueras from Garcia, Cruces and Salmela. That were your top 6, with Uriarte in 7th. So
we do see the ambulance going. So okay, so on our timing screen, what has just popped up is grid positions based on the standings as of lap 3. So we presume that what we have on our timing screens right now is what that was, as it does say 3L next to Max Martinez's name. So it will be Martinez, Zurutuza and Piqueras, your front row, from Garcia, Cruces and Salmela. Then Uriarte, Ferrandes and Carpe. So Carpe is the big loser in that one. Looks like he's going to have to start down all the way in 9th. Rouge Moodley in 14th. That is superb from the South African. Where did he start? He was way down the order, I do believe.
21st, yeah.
21st, yeah. So up 7 places for this restart. Great stuff.
So it's not the original grid positions then, as I predicted. It's the standings as of lap 3. So Uriarte, who took his long lap penalty, will start 7th place. That's good news for Zurutuza, the championship leader. He made a great start in the opening few laps, and he will start 2nd place. So not as much work to do for the championship leader. Cruces, who was out of shape on the exit of Danny Pedro's corner on lap 2, will go from 5th. That's better than his P6 in race 1, as the marshals doing an excellent job of just trying to clean the track up. Not sure what happened there. Obviously something was spilt on track, or maybe it was just all that gravel that was laid down. So yeah, correct decision to red flag the race. It would be dangerous for the riders to come round and hit that debris. So,
as we were talking about an incident yesterday when we walked round the track, Elliot, if many of you are MotoGP viewers, think back to Marc Marquez. I forget the year. I'm not too sure what year it was, but when he had that huge moment on the gravel and lost the rear going through turn 12 and still managed to save it. Incredible stuff. So this was the first start then. Uriarte got a great launch off the line. Max Martinez, not sluggish, but just got pipped out a little bit. And that meant that when they came into turn 1, he just got outbraked, really. So down to 3rd off the start, but it certainly wasn't a disaster for him, because by, well, lap 2, he was right up front again.
Yeah, we saw Carpe diving up the inside there at turn 2, and he made his way towards the front, did Carpe.
Yeah.
It was Boggio crashing out at turn 3.
Big shame for him, actually, because he had quite a good qualifying in 13th as well.
Yeah, we didn't quite get a replay of what happened there, but it did look like he was a bit miffed at someone. So maybe there was contact coming through turn 3. There's Brian Uriarte diving up the inside at turn 9. I think we're going to see plenty more of that when the race is restarted, because turn 9 is a very popular passing manoeuvre, especially in the closing stages. Turn 1, turn 6 and turn 13 are the others where you really sort of see the main passing manoeuvres take place. And this is what caused the red flag to come out.
Yeah, so there you see then the marshals still working away on the track, just sweeping all the gravel back to where it should be. And as soon as we get an indication of when we will have pit lane open, we will tell you, of course. Just a little shout out to the marshals as well. Superb job. They do a great job looking after the circuit and also the riders. We obviously can't go racing without them. So a big thank you to everyone that you see on screen there and everyone else around the circuit.
Yeah, in really, really warm conditions as well. Not a job that I envy at all. So yeah, kudos to the guys out there cleaning the track, and hopefully we get underway as soon as possible. We've not had any indication of when that will be. Hopefully it won't be too long. It doesn't look like the track is in a terrible state. I don't think I saw any oil dropped, which normally takes quite a while to clear. So, yeah, hopefully we get underway as soon as possible.
Nice to see some fans back in the stands. When we were here last year commentating on the Jerez round, there was none, which was, well, very, very strange indeed. But this year, a little bit of normality back, and there are a good section of fans in. Actually, in the grandstand just out of our commentary box window at turn 12, we can see the big fluorescent yellow banner for Fermin Aldeguer's fan club. So in about, well, probably an hour's time when the Moto2 race is on, I'm sure that his fans will be going absolutely mental when he's coming around battling with Alonso Lopez, but we'll get onto that a little bit later.
Yeah, make sure you do tune in for that, because that's the most likely race or couple of races where we'll see a champion crown today. So do make sure you tune into that. It's going to be a fantastic battle between the two Boscoscuro machines of Alonso Lopez and Fermin Aldeguer. But turning our attentions back to the ETC, yeah, it's great to see fans back trackside. We sorely missed them throughout 2020 and at the start of 2021. But yeah, things are starting to get back to normal. So fingers crossed that can continue. Here's Philip Ton. Where's he going to be starting from? 16th place as our timing screen just disappears. So apologies for that. I just crept that in before it disappeared. So
yeah, Philip Ton just been steadily working away this year, working on himself, trying to get better and better. Had a strong 8th place in, if I remember correctly, it was Valencia race 2. And just since then, he's had a little bit of bad luck, had a crash in one race and then just missed out on the points in another. But certainly working away as Philip Ton.
Yeah, second ETC season. That's not easy to say. ETC season for the 16-year-old Philip Ton. To be focusing on the 658 Dynavolt Intact GP garage.
Yeah, plenty of activity in the garage there, as you could see. Obviously, the riders, there's a wave. Obviously, the riders just trying to stay cool and keep the calm, and the mechanics doing all the hard work and heavy lifting at the moment. You saw there them also working away on, I believe it was Lucas Tulovic's Moto2 bike, just making sure final preparations for that will be ready for when we get going again. So here we go then. We've actually got some news. Race to start. To be confirmed local time, but we can tell you that the new race distance will be 7 laps. So we've got a 7-lap dash, and the pit lane will be open for 60 seconds, so 1 minute. They can't do any dilly-dally, and they've got to get out of that pit lane before it closes.
Yeah, 7 laps then. Ferocious battle awaits. As Jack just said, not sure what time we're going to get underway. Obviously, everyone, all hands on deck there to try and get the track cleaned up. Doesn't look like it's too far away, but
it's like the Ghostbusters, that guy, isn't it?
We can't be too sure, so we're not on the ground to look at the track.
Torrin Collins, the Canadian. Many of you may well have heard of this name before if you tuned into British Talent Cup.
Yeah, best of 11th in the 2019 British Talent Cup at Snetterton. His second season here in the European Talent Cup. No points scored yet for the 16-year-old, but plenty of experience being learned for Torrin Collins, the Canadian. He's got a dual nationality with the UK, rides for Team MTA, who have a good setup in the Junior World Championship as well. So race start, we've got it confirmed at 12:25 local time, so that's in 6 minutes. So not long to go now. Then there it is at the bottom of your screen. Then quick restart procedure. Pit lane will be open at 12:25 for 60 seconds. 7-lap race. Grid positions based on the standings at the end of lap 3, or should I say at the start of lap 3. Our timing screen is still off, so we can't bring you a reminder of the standings on lap 3. So hopefully that comes back soon enough. But we will be back underway racing in about 5 minutes' time, which is good. The riders have 60 seconds to get to the end of pit lane and get out. One of their team mechanics or team personnel will be on the grid just for them to pull up, give them a quick high five or last minute words. They'll peel off pit lane, they'll go for a warm-up lap, and then we'll be back racing again. So turn 10 then, it looks like all is okay into the famous stadium section at Jerez there.
Yep, thank you very much to all the marshals helping out there. You can see the last few rocks just being booted into non-existence. So, yeah, good job from all the marshals to clean that up. Like, very short time indeed to get everything ready and ship shape for racing again.
It's the Leopard garage.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Good start from Jacob Ralston. I believe he's on the 3rd row of the grid, if I remember rightly. We will confirm that as soon as the timing screens do come back. But yeah, not a bad start from Ralston, and he needs it as well. He's been not struggling recently, but certainly he won the opening race of the year, and then ever since it's just been, whether it's a crash or a bike problem, which he did have, I think it was Catalonia he had near the start of the race, just hasn't been able to find that pace and form once again. But it looks as though this weekend here in Jerez, it's just all coming back.
Yeah, I think he starts from inside the top 10, so that's good news for Jacob Ralston. So not as much work to do as he had to do in the original race start. And the riders will soon be coming to the end of pit lane. That's one of the Moto2 AGR machines just getting warmed up. Their race coming up, as we mentioned, in around about 45 minutes time. Their race 1, and then we've got Moto3 race 2.
You see them just firing them up. Oh, and another one in the background. I'm not too sure who that one is.
Of course, they can't fire them up in the garages, can they? Because that's against the rules. So they've got to come out, have a little bump start if they're not using the machines to do so.
There you go then. Just sorting out the number cones so that everyone knows where they need to go to. Obviously, they'll already be briefed on where they need to start anyway, so they will know, but just a little bit of guidance and help doesn't hurt. Here's Roberto Garcia, had a good start as well. I think there's actually a bit of a yawn under that helmet, so get this man an espresso, go for the Pecco Bagnaia treatment, and I'm sure he'll be fine. But yeah, Garcia has been quick all year, as we do say. But just the odd little crash or hiccup here just kind of stopped him from rising up the order in the championship. A couple of fifths this year, so certainly got pace from history, as we know.
An interesting story on Garcia is his parents won €3,000 on a scratch card.
Is that right?
To buy his first bike.
Wow, that's brilliant.
At the age of 3, so
I bet my dad wishes he could have done that.
So yeah, that's where his journey began, did Roberto Garcia, who's 15 now, into his 3rd ETC season. Yeah, as you say, Jack, his best result so far is a 5th place, so he'll be hoping to try and repeat that today.
Yeah, and obviously a local race for him as well. A home race hero from Seville, just about 40 minutes down the road or so, depending on how fast you drive. But yeah, no, good stuff from Garcia. I didn't know about that story. That's quite an interesting one, that. Quite funny.
I'd like to win €3,000 on the scratch card as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Might go buy one on the way home.
So we have the timing screens back then, thankfully. So let's just remind you what the running order is then. Max Martinez will start on pole again. He was the race leader after the end of lap 2 at the start of lap 3. Then it's Zurutuza and Piqueras on the front row. Garcia, Roberto Garcia will lead row 2 in 4th place with Salmela and Cruces joining him. Carpe in 7th, Joel Esteban in 8th, and Alberto Ferrandes in 9th, with Uriarte now 10th. So the timing screens have just changed from what we saw before they went off. So, yeah, Uriarte was in 7th when we initially said, but now he's dropped down to 10th. So there's been a little bit of a change, but not too many from what I can see. So, yeah, the top 10 is Martinez, Zurutuza, Piqueras, Garcia, Salmela, Cruces, Carpe, Esteban, Ferrandes and Uriarte.
This is Alberto Ferrandes, as you just saw on screen there. One thing with Ferrandes that I do have to point out is if you see an image of him with a clear visor, or you manage to see his eyes when he's on the bike, it's very piercing eyes. It's a fantastic look. It's almost Foggy-esque. It's not quite Foggy-esque, but you know, he's got that sort of aura around him. He just looks aggressive and, you know, ready to race sort of thing. It's always one that stands out to me.
Yeah, that's cool. The Cal Crutchlow eyes in recent years when photographers snap Cal Crutchlow in the wet conditions, always looking mean on the machine.
Yeah, certainly, he does. Here we go then. They're going to fire up the bikes, getting ready for pit lane to open, and it's about to be very, very loud here in Jerez indeed.
Yeah, these bikes are extremely loud, aren't they? They're probably the loudest here.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
The smallest bikes and the slowest bikes, but they make the most noise, don't the little Honda European Talent Cup machines. So green flag waves at the end of pit lane. They've got 60 seconds to emerge. I think everyone will do that quite comfortably by the looks of things.
Yep, we hope so. It's never a good idea to be dilly-dallying on a quick restart procedure. Got to make sure you get out at the end of pit lane.
31 degrees now. Air temperature, track temperature will be increasing all the time as well. Luckily the wind is holding off. Maximo Martinez there. Hopefully he got out before the 6 seconds. I think he did, because the red flag will wave and he won't be allowed out if the 6 seconds is up. So
exactly.
The rider's just leaving it a little bit late, but they're all finding the way back out on circuit now. So as we said, they'll come round. This is the sighting lap. They'll come round, stop on the grid. One of their team personnel will be on the grid for around about 5 seconds, then they'll disappear, then they'll go on another warm-up lap, and then we'll be back underway for a 7-lap dash. It's going to be absolutely enthralling, the next 7 laps.
Yeah, and you've got to say that off what we saw in the first race, the men that made the good start was obviously Martinez, Circuito had come up, and also Piqueras. So those guys that slipped back, Salmelo was one, obviously started 4th in the first part of the race, but dropped back to like kind of 7th or 8th in those early laps. He's got to rectify that if he wants to have a chance of getting on the podium, and that would be his first podium as well. So there's a few guys that would need to do just a little bit better than what they did before, if they really want to challenge for the top spots.
Yeah, just talking of Salmelo, he's scored points in every race bar one, where he finished 17th in Barcelona. It's his debut season, and to be scoring points in every race is very, very good indeed. Top 10 last time out in Aragon, and he'll go from P5 now. Yeah, P5. So there's the riders coming up to the starting grid then. They won't spend much time there. There's the team personnel standing on their grid positions for the riders. They'll just give them a little pat on the back.
Yep, pat on the back, a few words of encouragement. And a good look, and away they go. So this is the time then for the riders where they're just going to make sure everything's in order. I'm sure you'll see a couple of them pumping the brakes as they come down, just getting a little bit of temperature into the brakes, and just also making sure themselves are ready. It might take a little moment once they stop on the line just to take a deep breath in before they get underway.
Absolutely. Martinez then making everyone else wait.
Love that.
Stoner-esque, isn't it? He used to do that, didn't he? Just made everyone wait while he rolled up to pole position. Nice work there from Martinez. So the mechanics and team personnel clear the grid. Off and away on the warm-up lap then, ahead of the restarted race. Race 1, of course, of 2 here in the European Talent Cup. Race 2 coming a little bit later on this afternoon after the second Moto 3 race. So do stick around if you can. Of course, there's lots of two-wheel action today. Cadwell Park for the British Superbikes and Navarra, for the World Superbikes. So I'm sure you'll be flicking in between this and those 2 championships to have a nice full day, a nice Sunday, a super Sunday of motorcycle racing. You can't beat it.
Certainly has. I'll be going back and watching the British Superbikes from Cadwell Park, that's for sure. It's got a soft spot in my heart for Cadwell, I have. And yeah, definitely go and take a look at that, because I know from the race yesterday it was quite a good one. And also Navarra is shaping up to be a good battle as well. If you're a Scott Redding fan, then yesterday would have pleased you.
Just saw there, track temperature 42 degrees, creeping up all the time is the temperatures, both ambient and track. 32 now out there. I'm glad our commentary box is air conditioned, otherwise we would be really, really struggling. But thankfully there's a nice cool breeze coming our way here in the commentary box as the riders come into the stadium section. On their warm-up lap, there's going to be plenty of overtaking and drama here. There's the famous Circuito de Jerez grandstand. Championship standings, of course. Keep an eye on that. Zaratuza leading from Cruces by 12 points.
Yeah, it's pretty tight at the top. Those two have been fairly even all year. If it wasn't for a crash from Cruces, I believe at Catalunya, when he was actually running the top group as well, right with his teammate Zaratuza, then yeah, it would be almost a dead heat between them. So here we go then, final moments before we get back underway Max Martinez will be looking to get the perfect start once again. Number 51 of Uriarte, who did get the perfect start last time, needs to get an even more perfect one this time. He's coming from 10th on the grid. Watch out for him. We know he's very, very fast here this weekend. So there's going to be some guys flying through from row 3 and row 4. And we're all set to go.
Riders roll up to their grid slots. There's Zuratuz, the championship leader. Max Martinez and Angel Piqueras on the outside there, the number 18. He'll be hoping to get the whole shot into turn 1 after a good start. We'll see in just a few seconds' time. There's an issue there
for Corey
Tinker.
Looks like, I don't know, I guess it's stalled because he's wheeling it off. So that's a huge shame for the young Brit. Big shame for Corey Tinker, that.
Hopefully he can start from pit lane, but the red flag goes, the green flag waves in the background, the red lights are on, and then they'll go off, and we're underway again in the ETC, and it's a good start from pole sitter Max Martinez, but it's an even better one from Piqueras from the outside of the front row. He's going to lead into turn 1. Alberto Carpe's got a good start as well. He looks like he's going to go into third as the riders dive into the tight right-hander of turn 1. It is Angel Piqueras who gets the whole shot. Martinez just looking up the inside there, but thinking a little bit better of it.
Who was that going around the outside at turn 2? One of the Estrella Galicia boys, I believe, was it? It was Uriarte. What a start. So the number 51, he's up from 10th to 4th already. Corey Tinker does get underway eventually, but that start was like deja vu. It was Max Martinez looking to get the whole shot, not quite getting it, and then a few corners later, getting back into the lead. And it looks as though, is Uriarte going to go for second? Incredible. It looks like he is.
What a start from Uriarte from 10th on the grid. He's already up to second place. We did mention his superior pace in qualifying with Maximo Martinez. He's just got shuffled down there. Into turn 6 they go. Martinez then leading the way. Great start from the pole sitter. Didn't get the launch that he would have been hoping for. Oh, hello. We've got a long lap penalty for Roberto Garcia. Not sure what that's for, but Roberto Garcia, the number 31 on the purple bike in third place, has got a long lap penalty. No jump start we're getting on our timing screen, so that's good news then for the runners and riders. But yeah, the purple bike there, the number 31, Roberto Garcia, has a long lap penalty. So if it comes up on our timing screens as to why, we'll let you know, but we're not sure. But all we know is he's going to have to take the long lap at the end of the lap at turn 13.
Yep, so a bit of a disaster for Alberto Garcia. They're not going to take it this lap. He hasn't quite seen the signal just yet, but he will this time around. But what that will do, it will open the door for Uriarte and Zuratuz to come through and fight for the top couple of positions in this race. But as it stands, as we come across the stripe, Max Martinez is doing the business once again, and it looks as though in this now 6-lap sprint, he's going to try and run away with it.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about tyre wear now. They've just got to get their head down and just go for it as fast as they can. Max Martinez had a 0.3 second lead, as you can see there at the bottom of your screen, over the line. The rider's just got to get into a nice rhythm, as Angel Piqueras is doing, and just got to try and reel Max Martinez in, because he did this before the restart. Once he got out in front and had a little bit of clean air, he was able to get into a nice rhythm and break clear of the pack as Uriarte gets himself up into third place as we drop down the hill from turn 5 into turn 6. Max Martinez is free of the slipstream at the minute, and that's important for him to try and break clear. Uriarte nice and steady on the brakes there into turn 6, just behind his teammate Piqueras.
As you said about the slipstream there with Max Martinez, the trouble is with Max Martinez, he's so small, it's like pushing a pin through the air. So it doesn't really create that much of a hole for the other guys to get tucked in behind. So often we see on long straights, Max Martinez is the one that can use the slipstream to his most advantage or evade it as best as possible. But certainly he's got to do it around the rest of the lap as well, and it does appear they've just closed him in through the middle sector there.
Yeah, they have. It's down to 0.2 seconds now, so just edging a tenth as Piqueras and Uriarte. The top 5 down to Zuratuz are all split by less than a second. There they are. The number 31 of Garcia not taking his long lap. Zuratuz backing it into turn 13, gets it stopped at the apex. I was just a little bit out of my seat there, just wondering what was going to happen, but all clean and safe as we cross the line. 5 laps to go. What's the gap? It's still 0.2 seconds, so they've just closed in. Martinez on that lap. Zuratuz is looking a little bit impatient, isn't he? Just behind Roberto Garcia, who, we remind you, has a long lap penalty to take.
So red alert then for Uriarte. Here he is, P3 up from 10th on the grid, and he's closed in on the top two. It was a 47.7 last time around. Only two guys were in the 47s. That was Uriarte and Piqueras just ahead of him, but he was at a 47.9. He's going to switch and try dive under his teammate into turn 5. Yes, he is. Lovely move that from Uriarte. Now, Max Martinez is the next goal.
Keras just running wide there on the exit of turn 4. He touched the green, so we can't do that too many more times. But yeah, what a move there from Uriarte, diving at the inside at turn 5. We do see it, I wouldn't say often, because sometimes riders just like to wait to get into this corner, turn 6. It's getting a little bit busy down there as the riders just try and all scrap for the same line, but still Martinez then leading the way. His gap is still 0.2 seconds, so they've not been able to bridge it so far on this lap, but he's within touching distances, Uriarte and Piqueras. And now Uriarte's got past his teammate. It's going to be interesting to see how he deals with Martinez.
It certainly is. As we look back to the group at the end of the top 10, that is Cruces there, right in the middle of the shot on the Cuna de Campeones machine, number 10. And he's the man obviously second in the championship, 12 points behind Zurutufa. Well, Zurutufa at the minute is up in 4th, and Cruces is down in 8th. So disaster. It's going the other way from what Cruces wants and needs. As you see, 31 Garcia there, just flailing his left arm out. Looks as though he's going to dive into the long lap penalty lane.
Get it stopped.
Yes, he does. Got it stopped. Don't go on the blue.
No,
that was close. We'll give him it. Race direction didn't see, it's fine.
I think he was all right. Just got a little bit too happy on the gas there, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
It looks like it from the TV pictures anyway. So 0.3 seconds lead as Uriarte sets the fastest lap of the race. They both go on to the green. It's happened at least once before for Piqueras, so that's 2 that I've seen. We might have missed one as well. So with 4 laps to go, you don't want to be doing that too often, because you will get a long lap penalty, which will ruin your race with just 3 3/4 laps to go. Zurutuza.
Oh, there's a big track limit there for Angel Piqueras running right on to turn 4.
We'll keep an eye on the timing screens then for Piqueras. There's Zurutuza in quite a lonely 4th place now after Garcia took his long lap penalties. 2 seconds down on these riders now. If things stay as they are, with Martinez leading the way, although Uriarte is just about to break late and go up to P1. So
tell you what, Elliot, this is a big performance from Max Martinez if he can win this. If he closes this in and he does win it and gets back ahead of Uriarte, it will close the gap to Zurutufa to 14 if it stays as it is. So huge performance from Uriarte. And who is that? I couldn't figure that one out there. That just stumped me for a second. Not too sure. I'll have to try and see the number to be able to figure that one out. But anyway, we turn back to the leaders, and it is these 3 once again. Martinez is the meat in the Estrella Galicia sandwich. He's had a look over. It was Rouge Moody. That's a huge shame. Started in 14th, up from 21st from his original starting position. So a massive shame for the South African. But it's popped up on our screens that rider okay. So good to hear that he's walked off from that one.
So here's your top 3 then. They're going to cross the line with 3 laps to go. Max Martinez, as you rightly mentioned, will close the championship lead down. He's 28 points, we remind you, down on Javi Zurutuza, who is in 4th place, and he's 2.2 seconds, 2.1 seconds now down on these guys. So unless these guys really start scrapping in the final stage, which they will, but I'm not sure it's going to be quite enough for Zurutuza to reel them in, as Piqueras dives at the inside of Martinez. And now that lead, the lead cutting into Zurutuza's advantage, isn't going to be quite as strong. Here we're going to get a replay of what happened into turn 6.
Oh, just got his nose cleaned. Oh, that's very unfortunate for Moodley there, just trying to go up the inside at turn 6, and it's bitten him that one up. Unfortunate there.
Easily done down in turn 6. It really sucks you in after a long straight, 0.6 kilometre straight. They're going down now into the Dani Pedrosa corner. We see plenty of crashes down into there.
Martinez didn't even need the slipstream to get past Uriarte there. Incredible. But Uriarte did get him back on the brakes. So, contrasting strengths there. 1 top speed, 1 performance on the brakes. We're going to see how that turns out into turn 13 on the final lap. But, yeah, we're setting up for a 2.5 lap thriller.
It's all going to come down to the last corner, isn't it? We saw it in Moto 3. No spoilers as to who it came down to. But Jerez really does provide a really great end to the lap. It sort of builds nicely through this section, doesn't it? A couple of slower right-handers through 2 rapid right-handers that we're coming through now. Turns 11 and 12, and then it all sets up nicely for the Jorge Lorenzo corner down into turn 13. There's going to be 2 laps to go when they cross the line. So not long left now. Is Martinez going to make a move at the inside? Yes, he is. into turn 13. Nicely done, hits the apex, squares it off, and should lead over the line. It's going to be a little bit of a dress rehearsal. If he leads over the line to complete this lap, which he does, so he knows now that if he can get up the inside, keep it nice and clean at the final corner, he's going to make the run to the line and win the race, potentially.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be one of those things where he's just got to keep his cool and know where his strengths are, and just, well, trust the process, and hopefully it does turn out well for him. But certainly he doesn't want to be behind. That's what he does not want to do. Every time Uriarte comes through at him, he bites him right back, and that's exactly what he's done again. Just closed the door on him coming out the exit of turn 1, and again there on turn 5.
That's what you've got to do, isn't it? We see all the time the top riders, as soon as someone passes them, they've got to try and pounce back as soon as possible to not let them get into a rhythm. That's exactly what Martinez is doing, and it's exactly what Uriarte is doing back to Martinez, down into turn 6. Zuritu's has just got to be careful here. He's just running slightly slower than leaders, you can see, but he doesn't want the group behind to catch them. That's being led now by his teammate Cruz. Says he's 0.9 seconds ahead, so we'll keep an eye on that battle as well for 4th place and the rest of the top 10, but we'll focus on the leaders.
That's Phillips on, number 66 on the intact GP machine. That's a shame to see him sliding out. That looks again like a turn 6 one, but we will confirm that one for you. But anyway, we're coming down now into the final sector of the penultimate lap. If there is ever a dress rehearsal, it is time for one right now. That's when a Leopard, is that number 87, Alex Gordon. That's a shame to see him go just inside the points in 14th. And there you go, there's that dress rehearsal. He's thinking about it, isn't he?
He is. That's 2 laps in a row now. Martinez has dived at the inside and made a move stick. So Uriarte and Piqueras know that Martinez has got the capability of doing that and making it stick and beating them to the line. So last lap time then here in race 1 of the European Talent Cup. Piqueras dives at the inside at turn 1. He's going to run wide. Is he on the green there? I think he was, so his track limit's going to come into play. It wasn't Piqueras, sorry, it was Uriarte running wide. So Maximo Martinez leads again, the pole sitter. The number 28 will come through the first sector now. Round turn 4, the left-hander. Is Uriarte going to make a move up into turn 5? No. Martinez as well, just to keep him on the outside for now.
Wow. Yeah, he certainly does do that. Coming through turn 5 then, all about the corner speed coming out of here. Uriarte has not been able to pass him on the straight. What he has been able to do is pass him on the brakes. Max Martinez, will he go defensive this time? No, he doesn't look to go defensive. So Uriarte sneaks through. But watch him on the cutback again. He's going to build through this next stadium section, 7 and 8, possibly into 9. He may make a move, but I feel like he'll just hold it for turn 13.
Super late on the brakes there, wasn't it, Uriarte? Got the move done, hit the apex. So then into turn 8 we go. The fast left-hander not going to make a move there. Oh, yes, we are. Piqueras right up the inside. The Australia Galicia boys happy with that, but Martinez is bitten straight back into the stadium section. Turn 9 done. So it's all about turn 13. They'll come through 3 right-handers. One of them done. Turn 10 through turns 11 and 12 we come. So we're going to come down to the last corner of the last lap.
Watch him go defensive. He's surely going to hang it left on the exit of 12 here. Uriarte has to be careful. He's gone all the way over to the normal racing line. Allowed Martinez through, and it looks as though he may get it done. Sweeps around the outside. Is he going to hold on? Slipstream is the key.
That was sensational from Uriarte, hung it around the outside. Is he going to beat Martinez and Piqueras to the line? I think he is. He is. Uriarte wins the number 51. Fantastic on the last lap there was Uriarte. Martinez gets second place, 0.024 seconds away from victory. So close. And Piqueras, that's his first podium of the season. So congratulations to Angel Piqueras. Great racing from these guys on the last lap. I thought Martinez had done it there for the 3rd time in a row. Went up the inside, but Uriarte hung it around the outside. Broke really late.
Yeah, brave from Brian Uriarte there. Very, very brave indeed. Look at the team. There'll be a party tonight regardless of the second race, that's for sure. But yeah, great stuff from Uriarte. Hanging it around the outside. Phenomenal on the brakes and just trusted himself to get the job done. Great win.
Yeah, fantastic from Uriarte. A rookie, remember, that's his 3rd podium of the season. His 2nd win of the season as well. And you saw him pointing towards the skies there, of course, paying tribute to Hugo Milan. Maximo Martinez unlucky to not win the race. He did all he could, didn't he? Went up the inside at turn 13. Looked like he got it stuck, but Uriarte hung it around the outside, hit the apex, and then just held it on the run to the line. Not quite a long enough straight for Martinez to get into the slipstream, pull out, and take victory. But second place good for Martinez. Incidentally, Cruces got the better of Zurutuza in the closing stages. So we mentioned that Zurutuza was getting caught by the chasing pack, and Cruces' teammate beat him to fourth place. Zurutuza crossing the line in fifth. So that's important for the championship standings. So when they come up a little bit later on, we're going to see a little bit of change, definitely in terms of the points and the gaps between the top 5 riders, with fifth place Uriarte winning, Maximo Martinez finishing second as well in fourth place. So it'll be interesting to see how close they are. Just incidentally, Moto2 info, pit lanes open at 1 o'clock local time, so that's in 15 minutes with a race start at 1:15. So drama number 51, Brian Uriarte exceeding track limits on the last lap to drop 1 position. So that means Max Martinez has just switched around on the timing screen. So yes, Max Martinez is now the race winner. Not sure if they've been told, but yeah, the number 51 of Brian Uriarte exceeding track limits on the last lap to drop 1 position. There it is on the bottom of your screen. So late drama here in the European Talent Cup. I'm not sure where that was, to be fair. Didn't quite see it on the TV screens. But obviously he did do it somewhere, and unfortunately rules are rules. If you touch the green. Okay, so it was at turn 1 then. We did see that, turn 1. If you run onto the green on the last lap, doesn't hold much by, even if you touch it with half a wheel. Unfortunately, you do have to be demoted 1 place. So, of course, Uriarte will be disappointed with that. Nevertheless, a fantastic ride. Yeah, he's just saying to his team, just lost the front. Couldn't really do much about it, but unfortunately for Brian Uriarte, rules are rules. Second place, nonetheless, is a fantastic result for the Team Australia Lithia 0-0 rider. Angel Piqueras finishes third. Yeah, Uriarte not too pleased there, but you can understand that when you thought you won the race. You've tried everything you can to win the race, and then you're demoted 1 place on the last lap. It will be disappointing, unfortunately, Uriarte, but he's got another race this afternoon to try and make amends for that. There's your race winner then, Maximo Martinez. That's his 3rd podium in 4 races. And his first win in the European Talent Cup. Finished 2nd in Barcelona, and then finished 4th in Portugal at the Algarve International Circuit. Then finished 3rd last time out in Aragon, and now he's picked up victory and closes the title chasers down. So, yes, Maximo Martinez is the race winner. Piqueras picking up 3rd. A 10th splitting them at the line, as close as you like between the podium finishers. And we'll now get to hear from your race winner, Maximo Martinez. He's down in Parc Fermé with Jack Gorse.
Well, Max, a dramatic finish, but your first victory of the season. Just talk us through that race.
Yes, well, it has been very difficult, the race, because it was very hot, and there was the 2 that went with me were very competitive, so that make it is even more difficult. And well, I could open some gap with the 2 of them, and I finally can win this victory. So I'm very happy. Thanks to my team, thanks to everybody, and this race I want to dedicate it to Hugo, that we miss him a lot, and to all his family, to Kike, and to everybody.
Lovely words, and congratulations. And just once more in Spanish for us.
Sí, la carrera ha sido muy difícil, hacía mucho calor. He podido abrir un poco de hueco con Brian y con Piqueras, así que estoy muy feliz. Al final he podido hacer mi primera victoria. Quiero darle las gracias a mi equipo, a toda mi familia que me soporta, que me ayuda, y bueno, y sobre todo dedicarle esta carrera a Hugo, que lo echo mucho de menos.
Congratulations, Max.
Speaks very well, doesn't he, for a young 13-year-old. Excellent stuff from Maximo Martinez. And it was Martinez who started from pole position. That was the original race restart as Brian Uriarte and Alvaro Carpi just got the better of Martinez off the line into turn 1, but Martinez would recover to eventually take the race lead as Uriarte, as we're later going to see, had to take a long lap penalty, the number 51 rider. There's Adrian Cruces picking his way up into 4th place on the opening lap. As we saw some riders tumble down into the gravel. Thankfully, unhurt there was Boggio. Alvaro Carpi there, the number 83, just getting a little bit screwy into the final corner. It would all come down to that final corner, wouldn't it? There's the number 51 of Uriarte, and this is the crash that caused the red flags. The race got restarted a few minutes later, and once again, Martinez was on pole after leading at the end of lap 2, but Angel Piqueras got the whole shot into turn 1. Those two would fight it out until the last lap. Uriarte was down in 10th after his long lap penalty, but made a fantastic start. There you can see him riding around the outside at turn 2. Brilliant stuff from Uriarte. Uriarte made his way up into 3rd place, with Maximo Martinez leading. Them to have showed really good pace so far this weekend, and they just started to break clear of 4th place Xabi Zurutuza in the 7-lap dash. And it was all about these 3 riders for the podium finish. Who would come out on top? It all came down to the last lap. Martinez thought he got the job done up the inside, but Uriarte had other ideas, left it late on the brakes, rode around the outside, but drama would follow, because after touching the green, exceeding track limits on the last lap, he demoted 1 position. And Uriarte, despite crossing the line first, was demoted to 2nd place, which means Maximo Martinez finished first. There you are then, the final results. Martinez, Uriarte and Piqueras on the podium, as close as you like it, with Cruces beating Zurutuza, the 2 Cuna de Campeones machines. Salmela, Roberto Garcia after his long lap penalty, Ferrandes and Carpe completed the top 9. Joel Esteban finished 10th, along with Jacob Rulstone in that battle there. Gonzalo Perez, Guidi Pini, Torrin Collins and David Brinton, Emmanuel David Brinton, the British rider, claiming the final point. Johnny Gornesh, another British rider, finished 18th, just ahead of Paul Soller. Shaul Sharil, Theo Gordon, Carter Brown, Corey Tinker after his start got interrupted. He had to start from pit lane, unfortunately for Corey Tinker. He eventually crossed the line in 23rd. We'll now get set for the podium for race 1 in the European Talent Cup. Another race coming this afternoon, of course. Angel Piqueras, his first podium of the season, takes 3rd place on the podium step. Brian Uriarte doesn't look too disappointed.
I can tell you, I wasn't too happy. It was a bit of a shock when I got down there and saw Max Martinez roll up to P1. I was like, hang on.
Oh, of course you would have missed it, wouldn't you? Yeah, Uriarte will be disappointed, but at the end of the day, he's taken home a 2nd place. So I'm sure when he reflects on it, he'll be happy. But you can understand why he's a bit annoyed after crossing the line first. Piqueras lofts the 3rd place trophy. Uriarte will pick up 2nd place. He seems a little bit happier now, that's good to see.
Yeah.
And then Max Martinez, your race winner in race 1 here in Jerez.
Yeah,
Points
big
towards
victory.
victories. Big victory, yeah, absolutely a big victory in terms of the championship. A nice €200 check for Maximo Martinez.
Primera carrera de la jornada de la Hawkers European Talent Cup. En su honor, escuchamos el himno nacional de España. Fuerte el aplauso para los integrantes del podium, para el vencedor Maximo Martinez.
So the Spanish national anthem sings out then for a very deserving winner, Max Martinez. Very shortly they're about to spray the fizzy water, because of course, if you hadn't figured it already, all these guys are very, very young indeed. Certainly very talented youngsters. But yeah, late drama, hey? Turn 1 it was, where we saw the track limits come into effect, which saw that Brian Oriate drop to P2 instead of the victory that he thought he so well deserved, and he did deserve, that's for sure. All three of those guys deserved the victory. So in the championship then, what it has done is Zabi Zuratufa, sorry for that one, is still leading with 125 points, but only now from 10 points from Cruciez, and Martinez is only 14 back, so big day for him, particularly as well Brian Oriate closing to 29 off. Ferrandes is there in 6th, and Carpe, Esteban and Piqueras. Then you've got Jacob Ralston, the Australian, in 10th from Almansa. Sal Miller, who had a decent ride, not too bad from him certainly. Be hoping for more a little bit, just starting from 4th where he was in the original race. From Morelli, Garcia, Perea, who will debut with info as soon as we get it. And then there's Philip Todd, who unfortunately crashed out in 8th. He's down in 18th in the championship with 14 points. William Plonk from Sharil, Milan Paulec, Paolo Sina, Pini, Sola and Torin Collins in 25th with 2 points. The final point scorers so far this year are Alex Gordon, Demis Mihalia and Brown. So Max Martinez then is finally a winner in the European Talent Cup. It's thoroughly well deserved. He's been one of the top men in the championship this year so far, both in outright pace, racecraft and just the way that he's been there in every single free practice and qualifying session. Well done to that young man. We're going to see him a little bit later on for race 2. But for now, the glory is his in Hawker's European Talent Cup. And what a way to do it as well. Track limits, violations everywhere, eh?